Hello, the Alex is finally here, and today we will read another Russian film named, let me see, Alphabet on a Beach Bark. It's about school during the war. The part of the Second World War was in Soviet Union. It called here the Great Homeland War, and it started in 1941. So the Second World War started in the 1939, and the Great Homeland War in the Soviet Union started 2 years later. So it's about school and partisan school. We'll read it today and maybe discuss it. Okay, let's start. The Alphabet on a Beach Bark by L. Ochakovskaya. I love looking at old photographs. Whom will you see here? A very young grandfather and mother, a girl in a pioneer tie, a father, a boy with a striped bow in his hand, but sometimes strange photos come across. It takes a long time to ask about them, and adults, rejuvenated and smiling, will tell you a lot. So, this old photograph fell into my hands. On it, you hardly see the pioneers, the banner, and some adults half military. Women, either teachers or pioneer leaders, and the inscription on the side: Partisan School of Makarevich Detachment, 1944. One of the teachers is Vera Georgievna Ivanova. I went to Brest to see her, holding this photo in my hands like a pass to the past. This is how I saw Brest in the spring of 1968. The fortress, clean, calm, looked like an ordinary museum. And only this flame trembles like a young wounded heart. Eternal flame, eternal memory of the dead, an eternal reminder of the great and terrible fire of war. And the war started here. The fire and the smoke was seen by inhabitants of Brest at dawn on June the 22nd, 1941. 1941 or 41. Okay, for around 4 years, the inhabitants of the city waged an underground struggle against the enemies. 4 long years, not a simple calm day, not a single calm night. Vera Georgievna Ivanova and Jadwiga Antonovna Chernявskaya, teachers and old friends, became members of the underground, like many residents of Brest. The underground worker Anna Mikhailovna Senokosova helped them to contact the secretary of the underground city committee of the party, Smirnova. The fight began. It's been about 3 years. In the spring of 1944, the Germans, sensing the approach of the end, became especially hardened. Massive raids and arrests began. The underground city committee decided everyone should go to the forests. A messenger came to the young underground teachers. I am from Sverlovsk Partisan Brigade. I will take you to the forest. Get ready. A partisan zone were a huge swampy swamps all around. We walked waist deep in the snow. 3 teachers were working: Vera Georgievna Ivanova, Jadwiga Antonovna Chernявskaya, and Zinaida Ivanovna Piaskovskaya. In the very first hut, people crowded around them with curiosity. One young man shouted, "Mom, this is Vera Georgievna, my teacher." Were they dressed and fed? For the first time since June the 21st of 1941, they fell asleep peacefully. And just 2 days later, the partisan headquarters detachment's commissar said, "Since we have our own teachers, we need to open a school. Go to the family camp." And they didn't. The family camp, when the peasants were threatened with total extermination, women, old people and children went to the swamps under the protection of partisans and began a difficult life. Many times a day there was a cry of "Air!" Everyone ran to hide, but guys not only escaped from the enemy. Under increasingly difficult conditions, West continued to learn, to study. By the spring of 44, 19 schools were operated in the camps of the Brest partisan brigades. Vera Georgievna and Jadwiga Antonovna were supposed to create another such school. They settled in Zemlyanka in some underground hut and began to copy to list all school-aged children, to create a list of all school children. Also, this is done according to the law of universal education twice a year by all schools in Soviet Union. Where were 92 children, 60 of them were first graders. Here, on a separate island, half a kilometer from family camp, they found a suitable construction site. Older guys laid a path, wooden footbridges across the swamp, and built the building of the future school. And built the building with other men of the future school. The rest, together with the teachers, cleared the school territory. But the school should have everything, and the partisans helped children to make desks, benches, and teachers' table out of birch planks. That's all the teachers' aides were found in the family huts. For 92 people, not a lot. And no pencil, no ink, no paper. Here we see on the pictures that about 5 books. It's for counting, arithmetic for counting, bookwork for learning letters, 2 bookworks of Russian language, and 1 book of history. From the very first combat operation, one of the partisans brought trophies, a sheet of plywood and a school bell. Here is a board for you, and a changes are guaranteed. Not changes, but it's what we have between lessons, not change. Some recreation time maybe. Soon the children went to their first lesson with so the children went to marched to the first lesson. With joy, maybe. For 5 months, from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening, classes were going on at the school. The guys hoped for the health of partisans, but they themselves did not make a mistake. They made 61 sets of the alphabet from the bark, and 1 for the teacher. There was scores in the classroom the same as in yours. Yeah, you don't really have for now scores in the classroom. You have some interactive table, maybe computers, but they at that time had scores. Only they made of birch trunks with crowbars of willow rods, with knuckles of oak bark and willow chokes. While some are studying in the classroom, others are doing their homework here at the school, instead of notebooks and instead of pen stick. And if there are mistakes, no need to suffer. Just level the sand and start over. It happened right that some will say Jadwiga Antonovna, look, a viper. Remove the snake, and the lesson goes on. After class, the older guys, under the guidance of the wounded hero of the Soviet Union Kovalyov, made an excellent sports ground. They set up a school garden. In the early summer, they already ate their own green onions and carrots. But war is war. It happened that 10 times a day the duty officer shouted, "Air!" The signal is understood. The school island is hardly not breathing. Here is the joy. The partisan brought wallpaper, an old newspaper from the partisan brought paper, the old newspaper, so the children could have something to write on. But At school, they learned to do homework without paper and without pencils. They cut out everything on a birch bark, and up notice on the wall newspapers. Sometimes the guys themselves, under the disguise of beggars, made their way behind German post. They were collecting data for intelligence and made anything useful to the school. Gathered something useful materials. Many kilograms of medical herbs and plants were collected and sent to the mainland by school children. This is how they understood the slogan: everything for the front, everything for the victory. At this time, the elders were digging trenches, drainage ditches, and learned to shoot. Meanwhile, the front was approaching the Brest region. The Germans were afraid to fall into the pincers between the Soviet army and the partisans, and squeeze the blockade ring around partisan zone. Then the ring closed. Everyone over the age of 12 went into trenches and took up all-round defense. The Germans were behind the swamps, 3 kilometers from the partisan positions. For several days, the field kitchens did not smoke. The family camp silently waited for the signal. Break route, everyone. Children were given 1 cracker a day, adults nothing. And fascist planes bombed the ground. The dead was buried in the night in the wet soil. On such days, all school property was buried under the oak tree, so the Germans would not get it. And they dug up the school again, ate crackers, and went to the lessons. Believing that no one survived under the bombs, not daring to climb into swamps, the Germans finally retreated. In the early June, in the presence of command of Partisans Brigade, the guys were accepted as pioneers. Pioneers is like some institution, like you see scouts maybe in USA. School exams have started. All students, included first graders, took exams, and their knowledge was tested by a serious commission. And when victory came to the Brest region, the Nazis were expelled from our homeland. The fighters went further with the army, the children, women, and elderly to the villages. The teachers returned to Brest. Take a look at this photo. There are many different people here. Some are no longer alive, others are unrecognizable. They have grown old, changed, and the guys grew up, became collective farmers, workers, doctors, engineers. But especially many teachers came out of the school. If you come to Brest, and many people come here, be especially careful on the street. It's not just a city, it's not just residence. A city raised from ruins and ashes by partisans, because most of the inhabitants Brest are partisans. And former partisan teachers teach at the Brest Pedagogical Institute. We rarely remember the past. Never almost don't tell to their children, to their students. How they care about the future because they also teach future teachers. They help them to become a real comrades and educated people. To let them later teach their other students about sciences and comradeships. Something that a person cannot do his life without. Here's what the old photo said. Only one, but there are many of them in every family, in yours also. The end. It's their film from 1969. Oh, thanks for listening. Alex was here with you. Subscribe if you like it. You can write anything in the description. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.